It's Monday on YourView. Welcome to the show. I am Obi Ajulu Olabisi Ubu, and with me are the ladies. Excellent morning, Alahaj Janima.
Excellent morning.
What's up? How you doing? Oh, sorry about that.
So me and the Minister for Interior will have sorts. We'll have problem. He has declared Tuesday, Wednesday as Eid.
Okay.
And he did not help us to find the moon.
Oh.
Even Australia have not found moon.
Oh, wow.
Why will the Minister declare when they have not seen moon?
Oh.
Because if tomorrow we fast, me I have not do public holiday. We fast tomorrow and we do public holiday on Thursday as well.
Oh.
I don't know. Why are you rushing?
Exactly.
On Sunday, you go and declare
before
public
declaring.
Yes. Take your
Usually
time.
we always do it 30 days.
Okay.
So I think we should just continue with that 30 days.
So complete
No,
the 30
you know
days.
that the moon
Because-
sighting is very important for the month. So just take your time. Give the people with the business time. You can declare a public holiday the night before. It's not a rushing.
It's not, yeah.
It was yesterday Sunday that I read that public holidays on Tuesday.
and
Did they find moon
Tuesday
on
and
Sunday?
You have still not found the moon.
Let us find moon. We are finding it.
Exactly.
Leave it. Let us find it first. We'll tell you when our public holiday will start.
Should be.
I cannot use shopping day as public holiday.
Yeah. You too, you should start looking for the moon yourself.
My father used to teach us how to measure the moons and the days.
Oh.
So if a moon is a day old, but you know all the children will get it, but Nima is always playing.
Now you need that skill. How you doing, Ramatu?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. My children are back, so the house is full. But man, my food is going down. Since
Before?
they came back, yes, they are fasting though, but once we break our fast,
They
we
will
want to eat everything.
Before.
Everything. So yeah, so I'm happy, I'm excited they're around and all. Even though the weekend was a little bit.
Your face is popping this
As
morning.
in-
Like, Ramatu.
Children being around, everything is
Exactly.
She's rested.
So, yeah.
The makeup is also amazing.
Thank you very much.
How you doing, Topway Marco Dige?
I'm very good. I rested. I was in Akure over the weekend. I went on Friday, came back yesterday evening, and I slept.
Wow.
Rested very well. I didn't get to eat pounded yam and eforiro in Akure. Oh, pain me gone. But it was an amazing turnout. Over 5,000. Like when I say, I'm sure that I am under counting the numbers because the auditorium could sit 4,000, and they said the outside was bigger than what we saw on the inside. So what
was the training about?
Ondo Entrepreneurship Summit. So this is the 4th edition. It is about gathering all the entrepreneurs within Ondo and equipping them. The summit is like the grand finale. So there's a training, and some people will be got their certificates. About 400 people got their certificates on the day of the training. I spoke about the innovative entrepreneur, and I shared about the 7 Ds that makes an innovative entrepreneur, and it was loaded. The governor was quoting my speech. I just sat down there, I was just
Feeling
smiling.
cool.
I was just feeling very good because it was like, oh, like the way Dr. TM said, Dr. Tokwe said, like the way Dr. Tokwe, I was like,
Oh, wow.
it's such a blessing.
You're
I'm
feeling
grateful.
good, yeah.
And then yesterday, my twins turned 12. I missed the birthday by whiskers, but by next year we'll be teenagers. I'll be mother to teenagers.
Yes.
Let us start seeing.
We're getting deep.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. oh.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I had a family time this weekend. We had to shoot our family portraits. If you come to my house, you think that we borrowed the house because there's no family picture anywhere. I didn't come with their baby family pictures from Alagbado. I left it with grandma. So if you go to grandma's house, that's where you see
all the pictures.
But I needed to have like a proper photo of the family, and yesterday we did that on Saturday. Yeah, had to do that on Saturday. It was interesting, having everybody dress up and take pictures and forcing the men to smile. And men, I don't know, what did they worry
Even
them?
their sons.
Children.
Their sons.
My son too.
My son does not smile.
The photographer was pep talking him before he could even flash his teeth and all of that. But it was a good time. Then yesterday we just rested. I finally finished the series I've been watching, The Crown. And it was so interesting. Yeah, it was slow for a very long time, but I sat down and I told myself, it's not every time you do the sweet things, sometimes sit through. But I got the message, I got the struggles of the crown and everything. It was really interesting. Then I wanted to say thank you to all my customers. They've been shopping, walking into the store, to shop. Some are buying online. Sales continue till the 12th. So thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Ramatu wants to buy some too. All right, let's do a short break now. When we come back, we take the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. Major headline, battle for party leadership. Ayu keeps PDP in suspense. Saraki won't run for party chair. Kidnap kingpin Wadume freed from prisons. LP rejects NLC-backed truce talks. Obi no plan to quit party. Ladoja, other Olubadan in council, members in reconciliation move. One army officer killed, 4 soldiers injured in ambush. I'm a real Ondo APC aborigine, says Levy. Forex inflows rise to $3.7 billion US. 3.5 billion Ogun Edu cash for 150 beneficiaries. Attempt to loot food at silo foiled. What stories do we have in The Nation?
Okay, so I don't know. Did anybody else take Wadume?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the Nigerian Correctional Service confirmed that the kidnap kingpin Hamisu Bala was released from his correctional facility in Kuje on Friday, and they said he was free because he had completed his 7-year prison term, and he did not. They didn't issue a press statement on his release, according to the spokesperson of the correctional facility. He went to his hometown amid a warm and large reception. The king also hosted him at the palace. His people rejoiced at his return. I think Nigerians forgot that 3 officers
were killed
by an army officer in the course of his arrest when he was initially freed. You know, and I know that the trial was on the kidnapping. I don't think that he was fully tried in any connection or conspiracy or in relation to the murder of those 3 officers. The unfairness of their death is something that still plagues me.
Yeah.
You know, those 3 police gallant officers left family members who would see him
and the welcome he got was a slap on the face.
A slap on their faces.
Wow. Yes.
But we are Nigerians, and why are we like this?
But you know, say with the select, now my kinsman, not be my kinsman. You know, he was also like a Robin Hood kind of kidnapper up north in his place. So I just hope that that emir or the one in whose palace
that he visited,
was visiting, the Ibi monarch in Taraba State, knows that some people's heads of families and breadwinners
were killed,
were sacrificed for his initial freedom, and that, you know, such a person should not be celebrated except we are endorsing something like, you know, the kind of business.
We have a long way to go in the country.
Honestly,
a long way to go. Which are the
NSPP,
Okay, so I have a
NSCDC. Because I don't want to go and say Oga at the top.
I'm telling you.
Agro Rangers, this is a good one. The Agro Rangers of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps have repelled an attack. Suspected bandits went to the federal government grain silo in Dutsiman local government of Katsina State. Dusama. They went to Dusama local government, the silo that was there, that the government used to reserve food that they were supposed to use to supply people in need. They were going to go and steal damage the silo. They said the silo was not damaged. The criminals did not succeed in their act. The statement came from the NSCDC spokesman, Buhari Amisu, and the statement was that they were able to foil the attack. The bandits were also, there was a gun duel that took place, and I'm really happy about this because I know that one of the things they've been saying was that we have rangers, we have NSCDC, we don't need to have state police. We already have enough paramilitary. We just need to empower them to do their job that they can, because the paramilitary and local forces understand the locales better. So these people are people that are familiar with the area. They were able to deal with the situation before it went. But they said the silo stores grain that has been distributed between Katsina, Zamfara, and Sokoto State. So I'm really happy that at least we warded off a bit of food crisis that would have happened if they had been able to empty this silo. So good job, Agro Rangers of NSCDC.
Okay, so I took a story that is very dear to me because it happened on Thursday. There was mass killing in Kogi State. My husband is from Kogi State, and in fact from that particular local government. You know, I just feel that there are some states that are not giving recognition, like they are not well recognized, or is it recognition, will I say, or
when issues happen?
Yeah, when issues happen, they are not well, you know, talked about and all. Okay, so the killings, the bandits went into their village and they killed like 25 people.
Oh my God.
They killed 25 of them.
a lot.
This is not the case of kidnapping. It's just bandits. You just go in and like you want to take over the land. They killed them and displaced them,
So they
and
ran
all of them
away.
ran away. Yes, they killed children, mothers, fathers, grandparents. They killed all of them, and then some of them were able to run to the neighboring village, and they are all there. And they've been pleading with the federal government and the state government to please.
You mentioned the local government.
The name, this thing is Badoji, Odo, local Agejeju. That's where it happened. It happened at Agejeju in Omala local government.
Wow.
So they are now pleading with the federal government and the state government to please come, at least mount military, because they've left. They are all in another neighboring,
Community.
and they said they don't have homes, nothing to eat, and also. And there's even one that participated in the burial of those 25 people. He was looking for his family, looking for his wife and kids, and they're not part of the people that were buried. So he doesn't even know where they are. And, you know, he's confused and, you know.
So
banditry and
so
land grabbing is a popular thing in Kogi State.
Yeah.
People come in, displace people from their farms,
they
and
can
it's not
take
new.
over.
Yes, they can take over the
From their ancestral home.
Yes, and they
have
abandon their
resources for all
farms.
of that on the
You know,
land.
those people, they depend on their farm produce.
They now become beggars. What would they do?
Hey.
That's very dear. Please, federal government should help us. Put
It's
their
a really
aid.
sad story, but we have to move on.
Yeah.
Now, the Punch, major headline, federal government plans 3 national ID cards for 104 million Nigerians by June. NIMC awaits presidential approval for May launch, says procurement will be seamless. Nigerians to get different e-cards for banking, social intervention, and ECOWAS activities. OPS takes power tariff hikes protest to Tinubu. $2.3 billion Siemens power project transformers substation arrive in Nigeria. Dollar video release report of Ganduje's probe, Kano tells EFCC. Salah, federal government declares Tuesday, Wednesday holidays as Tinubu arrives Lagos. Relocation, Lagos terminates multi-billion naira Cantagua market contract. Female London-Lagos solo driver gets heroic welcome. India-bound trafficker vomits and excretes 80 cocaine wraps in Lagos airport. I have the major headline. So the federal government is to launch 3 new national identity cards in May this year, and has a target of providing them for about 104 million citizens across the country. The 3 new national identity cards planned by the National Identity Management Commission include a bank-enabled national ID card, a social intervention card, and an optional ECOWAS national biometric identity card. Now, the technical advisor, media and communications to the Director General of NIMC, Ayodele Babalola, was the one who disclosed this in an interview with The Punch on Sunday, and said Nigerians will start getting the 3 national ID cards within 1 or 2 months of the launch. He also said the launch date was May, but subject to approval by the presidency. He says, and I quote, "We expect the bank-enabled ID, national ID, to meet the needs of the middle and upper segments who typically use banks within the next 1 or 2 months after launch. Also, activation of the National Safety Net card to meet the urgent needs of the authentication, and a secure platform for government services such as palliatives within the next 1 or 2 months. The focus will be on 25 million vulnerable Nigerians funded by the current government intervention programs. They are also offering digital versions of these cards for those who would prefer it, but that would have some of their functionalities limited. So depending on what you want, you can either go for the physical one or the e-card. And, you know, this is just in collaboration with the banks, the government, so that people can have a form of identification. So I'm wondering why we need all these
3
cards.
cards.
3 cards.
3.
1, 2. The resources to make these cards
exactly.
and print these cards again. Can we
Yeah.
afford it now? Exactly.
Since me, I did
NIM
24.
BVN
I've not
is
got
something that should help
be lumped
us,
together into
enable
one
us,
card.
yes, to have our identity. Easy access to our identity for anyone who's asking and who's looking. But now we're going to be having that. We're not going to be having 3 additional cards. We'll now be queuing. We'll have a lot of queues. In fact, it's not our hot topic. We'll break it down. But let's take a short break, okay? When we come back, the newspaper reviews continue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Benga Dainka, the first. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Benga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the question.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata bata, I go drink. So,
Okay. So now one chance for enter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this. Because I have this question for you. Final question. Where outside Nigeria and what year? Think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking, because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a trip, a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I know.
I don't overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catch walk. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalking.
That's good.
That's
good
walking.
talking.
Welcome back. We are still reviewing the papers, and we are taking stories from the Punch.
Yes, I have the 2.3 billion Siemens power project transformer substation that has arrived our country, according to our Minister for Power. This 2.3 billion that the government of Nigeria signed with the German government to lend them 2.3 billion and employ Siemens, which is the company. That's why they call it the Siemens deal, to transform Nigeria's transmission. That's the point itself. The transmission is inside them, distribution of power in the power sector, and the machines have transformers and all of them and have arrived our country. That's the good news. So this deal was called the presidential power deal under President Buhari. It was spearheaded by the late chief of staff to the former president Abba Kyari, who died due to COVID. And the MOU, he went all the way to Germany. And you remember we talked about it a lot as the transformation. It was done in 2018. The transformation was going to bring relief to us. And this could not, come to reality because he died and things were stalled. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu make sure he reactivated that MOU and ensured that, that there's real achievement with it. And so now we're looking at a side where transmission will improve. What we generate is not all that the discos absorb because of transmission issues.
Yeah.
And we've been saying invest in transmission. So it's good to look back into past government. As they say, government is a continuum. This one, I'm very impressed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's continuity. Look for some contracts or MOUs already signed and make sure that, the reality of them come. I'm waiting for the actualization of this full deal and see how transmission will improve. Can't wait for that.
Which are the stories?
Yeah, okay, so I have the story of the rift between Ganduje and the present governor of Kano State. The Kano State governor, Abba Yusuf, has ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to release the result of its probe into the alleged dollar bribery video involving immediate past governor, Abdullahi Ganduje Yusuf. So he accused Ganduje, the wife and the son of embezzling the state funds up to the tune of $413,000 and 1.38 billion. So he asked that EFCC should probe Ganduje for these funds and all. And then the chief of the APC, the APC chairman, said that if you want us to probe Ganduje, we'll have to probe Rabiu Kwankwaso as well, because that the embezzlement of the funds started since from his regime. So he has to take from that year to the present year. and all. And as of that year, when Rabiu Kwankwaso was the governor of Kano State, the present governor of Kano, Abba, was the minister and was the commissioner of works, housing and transport. So they are now saying that since then, yes, that they allocated land, properties. Yes, they allocated land properties to their friends and families and also he is now saying that the EFCC should come and probe Ganduje and also there's a bit of rift going on here and there because of that.
But can we stop this pointing finger? If they say let's probe you, now say let's probe another person.
Let's finish with you first.
Exactly. Let them bring. Let EFCC release that video.
Itself, because they're spending money on the creating a committee and all. Why don't we just go on developing the state and move forward?
No, but they have to probe now.
You need to.
Why don't we have this continuity thing?
Let's move on. Which other stories they have?
Relocation of the markets. Okay. Katangwa markets relocation has been a project ongoing for a long time. Many people have already subscribed, but the Lagos State government has terminated the contractual agreement between Bridgeway Global Project Limited, which is on the development of the new Katangwa market. The special advisor to the Lagos State governor on EGIS and urban development, Dr. Oladipo Babatunde, disclosed this during an inspection of the vast land that has been earmarked for this new market, and they said in Ikeja, the relocation of Ikeja Computer Village as well in this urban regeneration program of the state, and said that the company, this Bridgeway Global Project Limited, had been given the contract for 2 years and they had done nothing. They had collected money, they mounted tolls on the land for anybody who wants to access the place, and they've been told to, they dispersed those that mounted toll on the land and said that they should step out of the place. No other person, the reason I'm taking this story is because the government is saying that no other person should pay Bridgeway to buy, people do advanced selling of these properties. So they say no other person should pay Bridgeway for properties within the new Katangwa market.
Oh, wow.
And for those who have paid, if you paid within, at least before this termination, that they would compel the owners of all the partners of Bridgeway to refund the collected fees from those that have paid, and that they would ensure that nobody else pays a kobo to them because they no longer represent the state government on the particular project. Any further person that wants to acquire property from the new Katangwa project should be directed towards the Director of Urban Development, Bola Bello. Those are the ones that will handle it going forward.
Okay. Let's move on now to the Daily Sun. Major headline: battle for control of PDP intensifies. Governors align against Atiku. At EIF 2024 in Togo, WTO orders prefer ways to boost investments in Africa. Crude oil underproduction costing Nigeria $15 billion yearly, according to Petan. Band A, 12 million electricity consumers to pay 54 billion naira every 20 hours. FCCPC wants stiffer actions to protect consumers, backs next AEDC fine. Elder Fitri, federal government declares Tuesday, Wednesday public holidays. Omahi clears air on rehabilitation on 3rd Mainland Bridge. Indian-bound passenger vomits and excretes 80 wraps of cocaine. Charm fails 2 drug mules at Lagos Airport. You can't destroy APC, Ganduje's aide tells ex-party chieftain, Kano government. You have no shame to speak on failures after 8 years of misrule, Yusuf tackles APC chair. NAF strike terrorist enclaves in Borno, Katsina, kills scores. Alleged fraud, ex-governor Buhari's ministers on the run. Tinubu refuses to stop arrest and prosecution. I wouldn't disappoint you as FCT minister, Wike assures Kingsmen. What do we have in the Sun?
Okay, so I have the alleged fraud, ex-governor Buhari's ministers on the run as Tinubu refuses to stop arrest and prosecution. Though this seems to me like a media trial. The EFCC, of course, have continuously insisted that there are 17, now 17, it was initially 10 count charge, ropes in the former governor of Kogi State into a fraud case that involves his younger brother, One Bello, and his friend Dauda Suleiman in a trial that is ongoing presently. But they've not arraigned the former governor, and they now say in this report, or Daily Sun say in this report, that they are aware that the former governor is avoiding public events or function or visits of certain places for weeks now over fear that he may be picked up by the EFCC operatives. The EFCC, on the other hand, said they have the Attorney General's approval to go ahead with this prosecution and that they will do everything. But then there's something I need to quote here. It said, EFCC learned, it was further learned that the EFCC has secured necessary approvals from the AG of the Federation and the Presidency to proceed with the prosecution of the embattled former governor. And then he goes on and says, Bello made enemies with powerful forces when he was governor. He will not escape this. See, that's not our concern. He thief, I mean not
Our
thief.
business.
Yeah.
If you like, let him make enemies of all of you.
You're not concerned us.
You're not concerned us. No, and they
put
should
that
not use
into
the EFCC
Yeah.
as a machinery to witch hunt anybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this statement clearly places this as a witch hunt. If it's so, please prosecute him and
Yeah.
collect the money for Kogi people.
Okay, what other stories do we have in the Sun? We are running.
Yes, there was in Togo yesterday. They held this meeting, EIF, ECOWAS Investment Forum, and one of the things they highlighted during the panel session was that the West African ECOWAS needs to integrate more. We need to provide more infrastructural development so that we can attract investment. We need to also have regional integration. It's not as easy as it should be to do business between the West African region because we have the Francophone and the Anglophone.
Anglophone, yeah.
We don't understand ourselves. We have different currencies. So the idea of ECOWAS is not really beneficial. It was organized by the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development in partnership with the Togolese government. And they do this just so that we can, each member state can get the information and prepare themselves. One of the things they said we should do is improve our power, energy improvement, agri and youth empowerment. If all of these things we know, but I can't believe it's still the same problem that has been bedeviling ECOWAS for many years that we're still talking about right now. Our leaders should just act on this information that is readily available.
Yeah. Let's move on now to the Vanguard. I think this will be the last paper. Do we do the Vanguard or the Tribune? Which of them? Anyway.
I don't have any more.
Let's do Tribune.
Tribune. Okay, let's do the Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune. Major headline, despite federal government's assurance of economy picking up, food prices still high. Buhari's government ended electricity subsidy in 2022. This is according to Falano. I am not leaving Labour Party, Obi. PDP CTC list, calm in Rivers as members wait for Fubara, Wike. Atiku knocks Tinubu over alleged secrecy in Lagos Calabar Highway project. Indian-bound passenger vomits and excretes 80 cocaine wraps. Kogi attack, we want government to assist us return home, victims cry out. Nigerian Air Force airstrikes hits terrorists in Katsina, Borno. Sultan directs Muslims to look for new moon today. What are we taking in the Tribune?
The Sultan is searching for the moon.
That'll be the
This
last.
is the 29th day of Ramadan, and he has instructed Muslims to watch out for the new moon, which will establish the Ramadan as, 29
end of
days.
it, yeah.
Or failure to find the moon will make us move on to
The next day.
the next day, which will make Ramadan 30 days.
Yeah.
So, Minister for Interior, we don't tell you.
Thank you so much, ladies. That's all we can take in the newspaper segment. When we return, we look into the top stories of today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
I am so sorry I'm late. I'm currently stuck in traffic. So sorry.
We're about to start the show. Hey, yeah. See, we're getting ready. We're to start.
The show starts in 3, 2, and
We're here again on your screens this beautiful morning doing what we do best.
So you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Thanks for staying with us. Last week, Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu criticized Nigerians for leaving their refrigerators and air conditioners running while they are away from home, citing a lack of awareness about electricity consumption. Addressing journalists in Abuja, Adelabu expressed concern over the wasteful use of electricity due to its affordability in the country. He highlighted instances where people leave appliances running unnecessarily, such as keeping a freezer on despite everything inside being frozen. What are your thoughts on this? But before we take your thoughts, let's take this video.
We must be able to talk the truth to ourselves. We don't have the culture of consumption management in this country in terms of power, just because of the cheapness of the tariff we pay for power. A lot of people come back from work, they want to have dinner, or they want to play with their colleagues down the road. They switch on the AC for the room to be cooling before they come back. Yes, some people will be going to work in the morning. A freezer has been left on for days. They will still leave it on when all the items in the freezer are already frozen. And 5, 6, 8 hours of their absence will not make it to the freeze. They will still leave it. It will consume power just because we are not paying enough. We've all been overseas before. We know how conscious the power consumers are to consumption of electricity.
We have all not been to Obodo before.
As in, this one
not everybody, yes. Majority of the people have never been. But what do you think about what he's talking about? I know that a lot of us are guilty of, not managing our power. That's on one hand, because we're really not aware how we can save our power. But let me come to the ladies. Let's hear your thoughts.
Please, this one. You see, this my minister of power. You are not helping us. So, like, we want to help you. Like, when I say we, I mean me on this side of the fence in media, holding you accountable. I really want you to succeed, and I've been holding you accountable. I've been calling you out. This was a major goof for me. That entire interview shows that our minister does not understand the problem of the power sector and is not able to address it. If you don't know where the shoe is pinching, you cannot address it. Number one, nobody that is paying a cost-reflective level, which is what we're paying now. If you are metered and you are paying the bill, you will switch off everything switchable. So he is addressing the wrong problem with the wrong solution. He's offering the wrong solution to the like there are myriads of problems facing the power sector, one of which is transmission. We know. Distribution, we know. So when you say that people don't manage their lights, you're not. I'm paying in band A, I manage my lights. My parents are not even in band A, they're like in band C. They manage their light because they have meters. If you have meter and you know that your action will control your bill, automatically you will change your action. So what the people is calling out are people who currently do not have meters. And that should be addressed, not to say because we don't know how much it costs. If you know that whether I use this light or I don't use the lights, they'll bring me 500,000 naira. Of course, I will switch on everything inside the house. But when I know that if I switch off, the moment I switch it off, it will impact on what I'm spending. That solves the problem. So what the minister is having this statement and saying that Nigerians don't know how to manage, and then he made the generalizing statement because of where he's sitting.
So we have
Unless the issue that we've all been at. How
abroad.
many? What is the percentage of Nigerians who have experienced life outside this country, or even seen what 24-hour power supply looks like? We need a minute. We need a. President Tinubu needs to review this portfolio, honestly.
Okay, so
I am of the opinion that we don't have a right fit for the job of Minister of Power.
Okay, so I want to interject from what you're saying. Where is the light that is even telling us to save? We should not put on our freezer, not put on AC. Where is the light? There's no light. So it's this light that you bring for 2 hours. We quickly go and put on our freezer and put on the AC so that the place will be. If mainly you put on the AC, the light will go. Don't go off. So let there be light safe before you even start talking about increments and how to even manage it and all. You understand? The federal government needs to be able to cushion this thing. Everything is just coming, blowing us everywhere. And it's so hard, it's harsh. The economy is becoming so difficult. Everything is becoming difficult. They just need to please calm down. Calm down with this electricity thing. Please calm down.
Ramatu has spoken this so much. He said, where's the light?
That's the first place.
They're not telling us to manage what? Yeah. What are we managing?
You have to have it to be able to manage it. Nima, let me come to you.
They have given me assignments. Now they have closed the topic. I cannot help but agree. I want to do balance for minister, but truly, I'm struggling here. Nigerians waste power. When you drive home in my community in the evening, they don't use power saving bubble. All the shops are locked. This Ramadan, I've been getting home quite late. And I'll see all the lights just running.
So they don't have meters?
Do they have meters?
Those shops don't have meters. Running. So Tokwe's case of, that it's the estimated bill. You use, they go bring the bill. You use. And I cannot help but agree with that. But I think that if you start the metering method with people, at least the prepaid meters with them, it will only encourage the culture of saving. When in my house, I use only power saving bulbs. I use only inverter friendly, but even freezer is inverter friendly. I have not bought AC for my office because I'm looking for an inverter friendly one. The one I know, when I switch it on the prepaid meter in my office, it will be reading tung, tung, tung. And if I'm leaving the office, I put everything on neutral. I switch off all lights and go home. So I know that if you start that method, Nigerians will only catch up quickly. They will only catch up quickly. The discourse, he should address them. Why must he address them? He must address them from that estimated billing method of, if we have this certain amount projected as profit for the month, we will share it no matter what happens, whether or not we render service. So I have one business where they even had a broken down transformer initially, and then they switched off for a period of time. They what they call them, the office, accounting, revenue office attached to the disco. The woman came pregnant. She knew that they did not give light for 3 weeks and cut off wires. Even though I was saying to her, where is the lights? Did you bring lights? You bought 86,000 naira for a business that you people were giving 6,000 in the beginning, continuously increase. Hey, it's the profit that they did not make, they will share. And then, even with all the reasoning, she cut off the light. I let her cut it. I went to go and sit with my guys at the office for my prepaid meter till it was issued and installed, so that we can now be reading our cost reflective bills.
Exactly.
Me and her, we can never have joint business. And I've told her, as soon as my prepaid meter is done, I will not pay this money again. We'll separate. Yes, so if I see her there now, we will fight.
So we have a caller from Port Harcourt, Mr. Atat. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to say thank you, maybe, for always taking the views for this angle. Okay, so about this light issue, I just think that our public leaders need to go to public speaking schools on how to address the public the moment they get into a position where they'll have to speak to press. Firstly, we have so many issues in power. Firstly, the prepaid. People pay. I paid for prepaid. I have not got it. I paid 85K. I have not gotten it. In my office, they were bringing bills 25,000 to 22,000. Since last year, I disconnected myself from utility bill. Thankfully, I was able to afford solar. I've been using solar. So when you say these things, you say people are wasting power, you look at it realistically. In my house, I use prepaid. What do? I live off my feet. But when I was on estimated bill list, I will not off my feet. Why? Because I don't know when the light will come then. So sometimes we leave this is not because we know, but because we are not seeing the light. So if I off my feet and go and come back and, and they bring light behind your back. So I think they need to look at the issues. Then they also need to look at when customers make complaints to them, he also has to look at the possibility of them responding to that complaint. In my home, there's a time when I was estimated billing. I was being given 40,000 naira for 1 bedroom. I went all the way to NEPA office to say, come and check what's going on. They came to the house, they did loading. Behold, we Nigerians too, we are part of this problem. My landlady had connected another compound light from our own table. So I was paying light for myself and for the next compound. It took NEPA people 3 months for them to solve it.
Wow.
How many Nigerians can wait for 3 months? How many Nigerians can wait to protest? They need to also ensure that when people complain like this, they respond on time. There are so many issues. I'm not complaining about the light or the increase of light. Give us light first, then we will pay. Just make we see the light. Give us the prepaid. Don't think for us. That is it. And some of them, they always go to the part of their abroad that works for them. Why don't they go to countries that have...
Yeah, amazing. She's made some points here.
Another
angle, which I will come back to. But I like how both of you started. You know, I feel that consumers are not the problem here. We have a major problem of our electricity from generation to distribution to transmission. That's the problem that the government should be focusing on in solving and not passing the buck. So when I heard the minister speak, though he made some points, right, but he was leaving the issue to the irrelevancies, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, the trivialities, things that anybody can, once you are paying and you are seeing that as your money is going down, you are the one responsible for it. You would have, nobody needs to advise you to put off your light. You will put off your light by yourself. So the root cause of the issues are not addressed, and that's what we like the minister to focus on. Tell us how you are solving the problem from generation to transmission to distribution. Tell us how you are ensuring that the people are able to have their prepaid meters so that they can regulate their light by themselves. Everybody's an adult here. If you have a house, you can stay by yourself. You have a family, you're an adult. You should be able to regulate your light by yourself. And if you decide to put everything on because you have so much money to waste, it's on you.
Pardon my sarcasm.
It's on you.
Pardon my sarcasm. Minister that we told that agreed that fee over and over and over that we're not getting light. He addressed it from increase of Blandy.
Imagine.
That we are not paying cost
those that have.
That
those that should pay.
That Nigeria
cover up for them.
That's where you address it from. So what you can't expect.
We'll leave the lights for
so
them.
nothing should shock us. So this
exactly.
Minister also said all of us have been abroad. You don't say me apply for visa yet.
No, that off tweet
with me. I just
we haven't been abroad.
I'm trying. Honestly, this minister, right from the day he was appointed, I was sitting down where Nima was like this, and I said, I really need, because anybody sitting on power has a huge responsibility. You cannot sleep.
Yes.
You cannot sleep because your job affects every part of the economy.
Power is very important.
Every part of the economy. So you can't sleep. So right from the beginning, I was like, my eyes are on this minister, and I've been looking, and I don't like what I'm seeing. And I really want him to work, because if he works, all of us will be able to smile to the bank.
Yes.
One of the things that ECOWAS was recommending as a way during the ECOWAS Investment Forum was that if we increase our energy, because businesses can't thrive if there's no power.
True.
So when we are talking about supplying energy, the people in the value chain, the discos and the gencos are saying that because we're not making money, so we can't guarantee improvement in power supply.
Yeah.
So I know it's caught between the devil and the DWC that, the people that are supposed to increase power supply are saying that we're not paying enough. And then the people that want to pay are saying we cannot pay until we see the power. Now your job is not to call out your citizens.
Yes, so your consumers.
Your consumers, your people. You are not to call us out. You are supposed to against us. You cannot call us out that we switch on.
How?
Our freezer is frozen. Inside which,
how does that affect generation?
No,
yes.
my freezer is frozen. My freezer is frozen. If my freezer is frozen, I cannot bring anything from the freezer. Okay, you won't need to tell me. I'll myself switch it off.
My own is not frozen. There's no light. There's no light.
Yeah, but let's look at it the other way. And I know that the government has said that they're spending a lot on subsidizing electricity. And the government does not have the capacity to pay that much. And I'm sure that was one of the reasons they decided to say, okay, ban AO. You people are the ones who can afford. No, but all over the world, you know, there's a way they make rich people pay for poor people, for
Less
things
commute
like
and
this,
all
yes,
of that.
public service and all of that, for amenities, you know. So for those people who are earning, who have a higher earning capacity, they are able to pay not just for themselves, but also pay in such a way that some of their resources can be used to attend to people who do not have. It's a way of balancing out the society, which I don't see any problem in that. But do you think that we can sustain subsidy if we say we don't want any form of increment? That you think we should sustain subsidy, that government should keep paying subsidy on electricity? Do you think that is feasible?
Okay, so subsidy, an economy without subsidy is impossible. In the world, you choose what you subsidize.
Exactly.
You must subsidize one thing. If we need this economy to kick off, we must make manufacturers or the organized private sector able to practice and run businesses. So we must give something. We've removed subsidy from fuel. We cannot just remove subsidy from everything. And so government should just sit in the office and do what exactly? Something must be subsidized. It is what you think is most practical to subsidize. Now, this issue of what we are even subsidizing, let's even break down the cost. We have hydro, generation. We have, the one that uses gas. We have different. We have solar. Which one is the expensive one that you are saying you want to remove subsidy from? Is it not gas that became wild on us that we are dealing with?
Price.
Is it all the Bande people that are using gas to generate power for right now? Because we need to break it down. Let them be as transparent as possible so we can absorb this new thing without thinking they are just, unnecessarily becoming harsh.
Yeah.
Where Rama said the economy is harsh, express it well enough. Yeah, sure.
It's very harsh.
Very. Because since tomorrow is Salah now, we are thinking how we will buy meat. If you buy the meat and reach house and you don't have your gas on solar, there's problem.
Yeah. Let's take this call, Mrs. Akinwale from Abuja. Good morning, Miss Akinwale. Hello, are you there?
Hello?
Good morning, ma.
Hello, good morning.
We can hear you, you're live.
Thank you. I'm Mrs. Akinwale from Abuja. I'm the first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. You know the problem? Please, you in the media should help us talk to this minister. The problem we are facing is not even the story he's talking about. It's the fact that where is the money to even buy the life? Where is it? The increment in salary has not been taken care of. So where do you get the money to buy the life? And this one that is talking, they are wasting life. Where is the life? They're not bringing the life. If you are not metered, as you said, there's no how you can get this life because the exorbitant price they give to people that are not metered is too much. We have not recovered from the petrol story. Where is it coming from? This nation, the Lord will help us. I pray that Tinubu will even review this portfolio. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, the issue of power. We'll take a breather here. When we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Water is essential for life, yet millions around the world still lack access to clean and safe water. World Water Day serves as a reminder for the importance of water conservation, access, and sustainability. Every drop counts aims to raise awareness and inspire action towards ensuring a sustainable water future for all. Join in promoting peace through this water campaign, because when we safeguard water, we sow the seeds of peace for generations to come. This is not just a campaign, it's a call to action for individuals, communities, and policymakers to recognize the importance of water conservation and equitable access to clean water.
I mean, water can be an instrument for so many things. Water can be a weapon. Sometimes water can also be a trigger. And lastly, most importantly, water can be an instrument for peace. Boiling of water is the safest, easiest, and fastest route to getting clean, potable water. It is said that 3 out of every 10 Nigerians do not have access to clean, potable water. As a doctor, there are a host of diseases that could be transmitted via use of unsafe water. Some of the diseases commonly, in fact, is diarrhea. There are some others, such as schistosomiasis, which can cause quite some very serious health challenges, and in the long run could even cause things like bladder cancer, trachomatis, which could lead to blindness. Can you imagine that just from unsafe water?
At TVC Communications, we know that by working together, we can ensure a sustainable water future for generations to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7, to be honest, because ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We'll not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
Neuroplasticity.
And based on
he asked a question that was subjective about high life, and he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, my day.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
God, I'm Sheon Kuti. No, wait, Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
You can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. So my final answer.
No. All I have to say is this show is really about drinking.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
The questions don't matter.
That's the whole
Justice
idea.
is out the window.
We throw caution to
we
the
have
wind
no
right
morals here.
On the 7 of 7.
Like we're still talking about the increased electricity billings and the fact that the minister came out to say that we were putting on our freezers without putting them off as part of the problem of the electricity issues we have in Nigeria. And I asked the question, do you think the government can continually sustain paying subsidy? Have we gotten to that point where government can begin to remove subsidy from different aspects where they have been trying to help Nigerians cushion the effects of the hardship? We've taken out subsidy from fuel, petrol, and we see how that has affected every aspect of the Nigerian life, and now we are hearing the subsidy has been removed again from electricity, and Nigerians are asking the question, is this the right time? But let's hear your thoughts on the subsidy removal.
Subsidy removal, they've done it. There is no country in the world that does not subsidize something. There must be a form of subsidy to provide balance concerning within the economy. The reason Nigeria is removing all subsidies because there's no fund. But even at that, we're removing all subsidy and throwing this heavy burden on the citizenry without any cushion in any form. Like they are being hit left, right, center. Food prices going up, petrol prices going up, electricity prices going up. Everything is skyrocketing. I do not think it is fair to the Nigerian voters. Let me use them as voters because I know that politicians would understand the language when you say to your voters. Yes. These are your voters. It's not fair to them because this is what you promised them. But the president has always said that it will be harder before it gets better. And I can understand, but I also feel like there must be KPI and accountability checks on all the ministers, and every ministry must be doing what they can to ensure they're providing the quality service and delivering to the people. I feel that power hasn't really delivered. And I feel that removing subsidy on power is a huge one, considering the challenges we're facing. Maybe the subsidy might not be given to Gencos or this way. It might be from the point of gas. Okay. Even if it is just gas alone, if you subsidize the gas that everybody, if majority of power is being generated by gas turbine, if you subsidize gas, it might be able to provide a bit of amelioration to the people. Yeah. That might help. I also feel that we need to call out. I've called out the government since the beginning. We've been talking about power. I want to call out with the people as well, because there are some issues that we are the ones that are the problem. There are many people bypassing power till today. People bypass electrical appliances in their house so that they don't pay. All of this is going to go on, and another person will pay it, because the discos are a business. At no point will they sell out power and they will not find a way to ensure that somebody pays for the power that has been consumed every month. So if all of us are doing what we should do as Nigerians, we will reduce the burden on a few. So now they are saying, okay, Banter will pay more. And then they will now redistribute those that are not metered. They will now give them estimated billing based on the consumption that happened within this area. But if if nobody bypassed and everybody is paying what they consume, we will reduce the problem and the load on even the discos, because discos are business and I run a business. I don't want to run a business and I'm running charity.
Yeah, running at a loss. Let's take this call. Pastor Cyril from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Pastor Cyril.
Good morning to you all this morning.
Go ahead, you're live.
All right. It's so sad, so disappointing, and so pathetic that such statements are coming from the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think the important thing is to address the major issues of the power sector in Nigeria, the power sector in Nigeria, talking about power generation, distribution, and metering. Allow me to use the power that is available to my own discretion since I'm paying for it. I could put ACs and freezers in all my rooms, even in the lobby or the balcony, anywhere. First of all, let power be made available. Then, as long as I am paying for it, it's at my discretion to use it. Let it be that I'm wasting it, but I've paid for it to the government. It's not for a minister to sit down in his office and tell us how to manage power that is not even available. I have things in my freezer, and for about 3 days, we traveled, only for us to come back. Everything has spoiled. Everything spoiled. We have to discard them, throw them away. Were we supposed to turn off our freezers if we are traveling, when we are living in a country where you have unstable power supply? No. You don't tell us how to manage power. Make power available first. I think while we are addressing these statements or the outcome of this media interview or interview granted to the media, the president should look inward. I think that man, he is not conversant with the power sector, what is happening. He should be replaced, please.
Thank you so much, Pastor Cyril. Ramato?
Yeah, so the margin is even too wide. The increase is too much, honestly speaking. Gaskia, let's say the truth. The margin is too wide.
240%.
It's too much for us. Right now, we're dealing with a whole lot of things. And I don't think this is the time. I think the government should still subsidize. They should continue to subsidize until, things get it.
Stabilize a bit.
They are just blowing us with a lot of things all at the same time. And minimum wage is still 30,000. It's still 30,000. They have not said anything about that one. Where are people going to get the money to pay for this? And power is very important. Very, very important. We need this power to stabilize so that foreign investors can come and invest in the country. So if we want this to happen, first of all, give us light. Give us light. Test. Okay, let them test. Test us. Give us 24 hours light. Test us first and let's see if you can give us 24 hours light before you bring out 225 naira per kilowatt. Somebody made an analysis. Yeah, somebody did an analysis of your AC 1 horsepower how much it's going to consume in an hour. Almost in 8 hours, you pay for this thing for I think total amount to be like almost 30,000 a month for 5 hours use of AC. And look at the weather now, very hot.
Very hot. So
Very hot.
Are not even blowing.
The fan blows hot air. So we need this light. Government, please subsidize it. Continue to subsidize for now. For now.
YK says, I beg, who switches off freezer? I have never heard of that. What nonsense. Charging for 20 hours of light when we still have to buy diesel because, you bring only 5 hours out of that. Even abroad, they don't switch off freezers. Yes, never heard of it. Also, Alex Wang Pam says, in all honesty, when power is generated and it's not consumed, it's a waste because every kilowatt generated costs money. The Minister of Power truly is ignorant of the problem of power. If every Nigerian home switches off, how would the production cost be recovered? That's the problem why they don't want to meter us. When you're on prepaid meter and you switch off, it's you that is saving your money.
Yeah.
Now, what you use, you pay.
Yeah.
But when they put all the estimated bill, they bring, they don't bring, they will come and collect money. So that's why you now ask Nigerians to switch off. When these costs are even returning, power giving. They don't take all that is given to them.
So
they have the power. Who runs a country where they have the power to return? What kind of business model is that? They return power. You are now complaining. You've not addressed the issue.
Yes, now
there are many areas where this issue must be addressed. I'm just grateful that I took the story that the MOU for that transmission and distribution is brought in. I hope it actualizes within these ministers, within a short time before his appraisal comes. Because if that does not, yes, now.
Who's giving him appraisal?
Well, we have given him appraisal.
Exactly. They have a provost too. With the president, what's her name? Adizabala.
That will give him approval or appraisal.
Before she will appraise, and recommend to the president. So
negative.
Please. This transmission is the problem. When we sort out that one, power that Ramas is talking will come. When we come, test us, and let us see. Because those of us who are paying for what we are using, we want to see the power first.
Yes, we want to. Let's take this call. Rotimi from Owode. Good morning, Rotimi.
Good morning, BC.
Good morning, sir.
Happy ending of Ramadan fast to my sister.
Thank you.
Mr. God bless you. I quite appreciate your insight on what just happened, what you just said now on this power issue and the minister. It is so unfortunate that we still have people like Femi Adesina in Tinubu government. The rascality on some of our people when they get to office is appalling and very, very embarrassing for a public servant to be insulting Nigerians, telling us that we are wasting power. When he knows that the problem with power sector is not the usage, it's the transmission. He knows this is the same minister that fly around with private jet that almost crashed sometime around last year in Ibadan. He is telling Nigerians are wasting life when he was busy wasting taxpayer money flying private jet around. This is the same Adelabu. I expected President Tinubu to attack this Adelabu and the Minister for Information. Because the Minister of Information, we have not been had him. He is the one responsible for rebranding the government and telling Nigerians what the government is doing and the current situation of the country. The Minister of Information is more or less invincible in this government. Those one we see talking sometimes, coming up again, insulting the responsibility of Nigeria, just like Prime Minister did. It is very insulting for Adelabu to tell Nigerians to be switching off their freezer. How many hours of light do we have a day in Nigeria, especially in Lagos?
Our freezers.
When grid shuts down.
Yeah.
Every other week.
That's actually very risky. And one of the reasons we put on the freezers is because you're not sure.
Because food is sure.
Exactly. So as long as your freezers are chilled, a few times Nima has complained that most of our things were spoiled and meat and everything.
I remember when 2022, the whole of 2023 till now, they give us like 2 days. 1 day on, 2 days off. It was initially 2 days on. Now they have miscalculated. His problem is still persisting. Exactly. The estate management gathered recently to go and discuss with them the bills that they are giving to solve the problem. We paid for our transformers. When we go there, you sign that handing over. He has not even started, talking about the problem. he needs to talk about the problem from a consumer-oriented solution point for us to feel justified.
Yes.
If you come from a businessman, you're not there to serve your friends who are investors. Because all the aids that they have been giving over the years from Obasanjo's time, they've continuously assisted the power sector and the investors.
Yes,
When the discourse were brought in, bailout, we don't see solution. Now you're putting the whole burden on consumers without addressing how consumers have suffered. We don't see power, we pay for it. We complain, no solution. No solution. Is there an office already within the Ministry of Power to even address us? NEC is not active enough. NEC is not. This is the one that did AEDC is the first we will see.
Yeah.
There are several other overcharging happening everywhere in the world, in the country.
We'll talk about that when after we take this call. We have Shegun from K2. Good morning, Shegun.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Well, right now, Nigerians have an opportunity to contribute to the assessment of their ministers. Adiza is about now launching an app that will assess what minister has done in office. So Nigerians have an opportunity now to assess Adelabu and co. That's number one. Number two, the question is, what is the role of the Minister of Power in power right now, particularly in the increment or decrement or whatever of bills? He has no role by law. He has no role by law. Unfortunately, Adelabu in that interview spoke more sense than lesser sense. But we have picked the little statement he made that was wrong. If we are to be honest with ourselves, Nigerians are wasteful. I think what Adelabu should have said was that, look, right now we are generating, we can transmit more than enough. Nigerians, please kindly switch off lights that you are not using so that others can have. Instead of you telling us to switch off our freezers. What we should be happening on is that they should give us prepaid meters so that I can on my own determine what I use.
True.
If I want to be wasteful, it's my business. It's my money. If I want to conserve it, it is mine. But the biggest problem, like like some of you have said here now, is that right now we are not transmitting enough. We are generating, the discourse cannot get it to us, the end users. That is the problem we have. And that is what Adelabu should concern himself more about. But for we consumers, we should have on them giving us prepaid meters. If you give me prepaid meter, if I want to waste my money, nothing concerns you. But right now, Nigerians have an opportunity to access their ministers. Adiza is about now 10 this morning, launching that app. So all of us can go there and start putting our opinion in the assessment report that will be given to the president on Adelabu. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, I wanted us to talk about the fact that we need a faster response, swift response to issues when we raise issues. The last caller that mentioned it said she took 3 months to resolve an issue that was happening. And I'm also glad that NEC was able to find, they said they had increased even those in band A, band B, all the bands. Some of them were getting, and they were not getting that 20 hours light, and they were getting, increments. And so they have complained about it, and NEC had decided to find the disco that did that, and also promised that the consumers will get their money back or get their light somehow, and that was more like a swift response, probably because a lot of people cried out. But how do we get to a point where in our electricity system we have swift response when issues are tendered, when complaints are made? We have someone who will not drag through all the bureaucracies to quickly attend to the consumers. I personally believe that we run this thing because we feel government hand is involved. If there's a way we can run it like private business, we may have more, what would I call it? We may have more positive outputs. We may have more productivity. That's the word. Effectiveness and productivity will be more. But now everybody's feeling like government hand is involved and all of that.
Go and sit down and draw that board, do everything he can to make sure that he should set up committee, he should sit down, make decisive, he should take good decisions. that will favor everybody, favor the investors and also favor the consumers. But he should just concentrate more on the consumers because we are the ones paying.
Yes.
So, but we should have light. We should have light.
So besides that, this quick response thing brought an experience to mind. So a client had reached out to me. She bought a property in Ikorodu. She did not meter to the house. She was getting bills at her address. And it was found that the bills were being generated some streets before hers. She would go to the disco in question in Ikeja, and she would sit at the reception from morning till night. No solution. Those bills continuously came till we were trying to influence the change. She should be able to come in and say, at this property, no residence. It's something you can investigate. We under the discourse alone. Somebody should be able to follow her to the house and see that it's not an occupied, it's a building under construction.
Hey,
how do you give 400 and something thousand to a building under construction when nobody's living? And then they traced it, the address was written for somebody else's house, but the bill is being given to her. They didn't want to solve it. So there's connivance. That's why the NERC, the reason it was set up was to regulate. When somebody brings such an appeal, the person should not be queuing up.
Yeah, you move
for months. NERC themselves should be able to investigate and compel.
But they get a lot.
Yeah.
They do.
But that's all we can take on this electricity issue. Let's take a short break. Yes, we are done. We are done with it.
Unfortunately.
When we come back, we move on to yet another topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Every morning. It's the 7 of 7 and see the 9th on this social experiment called the 7 of 7. It's Owen G. What is the name? Or what was the name? You see, I want to make them better now.
Rock Heart.
No, of the goats. When they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of
Buga.
He didn't get it. You know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
No, let's just.
No, wait. No, don't. No. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. With your hunchback.
That was it.
You are wasting time. We don't have time. See, my brother, before we go on a commercial break, you are stubborn. And I told you since. The fact that you play this your hair does not mean. You understand? See this bad hair you are looking at. It's experience. I've suffered before you.
But I try now.
When you there during the military era of Abacha and Babangida, you know what happened?
I be Gen Z.
So that
Gen
Z,
I call for
I will remove 4 out of 10.
That's like
4 out of 10 they pass exam. Don't drink this thing. Baby, you are on here.
Thanks for staying with us. According to a report, the Lagos State government has issued a notice of demolition of a $200 landmark beach resort, saying the property obstructs the planned route of a 700-kilometer coastal road intended to connect the state with Calabar. Joining us on the show is the CEO of Landmark Africa Group, Paul Onwanibe. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my heart. When I read the news, I was like, what? Landmark? That's more like a tourist place everybody wants to go to. When you're coming into Lagos, you want to go to Landmark Resort. What happened? How did this elude you in a way that I know that sometimes when you want to buy a property, you make inquiries. And aside from CFO, you ask her, it's called searching.
Yes.
Enima used to do that for me. You search and then you say, okay, this is government's owned property that they will be using in the next 50 years or the next 100 years. How did all of this, what happened?
What's going on?
So it's interesting. First of all, just for context, we bought this site in 2007. Yeah. This is 2024. Oh, yeah. So that's 17 years ago. As an organization, we've worked across the world, in Europe, in America, in Africa. In 2003, we came to Nigeria. It took me 4 years or 3 years to find this site. And we bought the site in 2007. At the time, there were no easements. It was beachfront property. We bought it as beachfront property. Okay. And we have a 90-year lease perfected. Yes, and we paid an absolute fortune for it. We did all our checks and such. We were funded by international investors. We have raised, at different times, loans internationally and domestically to the tune of $100 million. All these people do their due diligence. At different times in the progress of the development of this site, we've sought and received planning permission on 4 different occasions. So I can assure you, as a business, we've dotted the I's and crossed the T's.
Okay, so I know that the Coastal Road is not a new initiative. The Coastal Road idea has been something that every Lagos person knew there would be a coastal road. The assumption was that, I assumed they were going to have to maybe reclaim, which would have been really expensive. But is it that the landmark beach, that landmark project, does it fall on the coastal road, or does it fall before or after? Where are you around the coastal road, and why are you now seen to be in the line of the coastal road that is they're now issuing demolition?
So I'm not sure that's a question for me, in all honesty, but you know, I can talk about Landmark and Landmark's position, right? So I am told we're at ground zero of the coastal road, so we're in the first 1.5 kilometers. It starts just around Landmark, as you can imagine. So there is an alignment for the coastal road, which is in front of Landmark. It's the road that goes along. There's a median, the road. It's been there. That alignment, I think, was gazetted sometime in 2016. Oh, sorry, earlier than that. At some point, the coastal road alignment was changed to go onto the water side. And I heard about that sort of a long time ago, but I didn't know the details, right, until two or 3 weeks ago. So I think that those questions are for other people, but my point here is you know, I'm here to talk about my business. Yeah. How is to save a business that employs 3,500 to 4,000 people. We've been in business for 27 years. We've been in Lagos for 20 years. We've been on that site for 17 years. We have 84 different businesses within our ecosystem. Every single square inch of our property feeds multiple families. We've paid taxes to the tune within that ecosystem of almost 2 billion naira. So, you know, this is a story about the business. You know? And, you know, to be fair, you know, I'm not naive. I've had conversations with various levels of government. I see the noises and the narrative coming out of government about supporting businesses, creating an enabling environment, making sure there's FDI, reversing foreign exchange flight. You know, we're at ground zero of all that. This is what we do. So that makes sense to me, and I think this will be resolved. But it will take time.
It will be.
Yeah, it should be resolved, because, you know, business in Nigeria is very difficult, especially the starting point. And I'm very sure before you secure that land, you must have gone to get all the required papers and all of that. So, yeah. Exactly, and all the plan and everything. But for them to come now and say this, you're on the way and all, it's heartbreaking actually and all. So I'm thinking that the government should please try and, you know, help businesses thrive, let them be able to thrive and all. The government should be thinking of how they are going to even make money out of the business that already exists. How do we now come in? Okay, you are making so amount of money. Okay, how do we now come in? What's the own percentage and all? Make business out of business. That should be the way. Can always reroute the coastal stuff. I think there's a way they can reroute it if it's well planned.
I'm listening to you, Mr. Onwe, and thinking, are you blackmailing the government into leaving your business? Because I'm aware that the coastal highway has been in the works. It's been a plan forever. If your business started in 2007, you must have heard of the coastal highway project before you started.
It was in front.
You know, it was in front.
Now they've moved it to
his
side.
this design, the change, if you have a good action, that the original design and the change has affected your business, you should be looking at, how government must pay for this difference.
Compensation.
But if government thinks they cannot take it in front and they must take it this way, they should also be talking to you. But that's not the conversation here. Why is it muddled up in some kind of confusion right now?
So I'm not really sure where you're going with this. But there's no confusion. The facts are there. I mean, I think people should examine the facts. I would hate this thing to become a political football. I mean, use the term like blackmail. I don't even understand that term. Because there's no blackmail.
Government should not have approved your business in the first place.
I don't know. You can't create the business that we have created without the support of government. It's impossible.
Yeah,
yes?
It's a huge
impossible.
one.
Yes, we have invested over $100 million in this thing. We employ a number of people. We energize a number of businesses. We're at the ground zero of hospitality and tourism in Africa.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's important not to create a.
So is it that government is now coming against your business?
Not at all.
He mentioned there was a realignment. So
there was a realignment
understand
that affects us.
That is as the conversation in the information. Sometimes we hear this thing and it just you said you found out about 3 weeks ago. I'm into real estate. Those of us that were into land banking were jubilating because it's a marketing tool for us to see that finally this road is getting done. But now I'm seeing, yes, it was on Saturday I found out about the demolition notice, and I was shocked that this cannot happen. Has there been conversation around compensation? Is it that you don't, as a company, you don't want to be compensated? You want a case where they can preserve your business? What would be an ideal scenario for you?
Well, an ideal scenario would be to ensure that the 3,500 people we employ continue to increase. Exactly. The businesses that we enhance continue to do better. The taxes we pay to government continue to happen. The tourism industry in Nigeria and in the wider environment continues to flourish. That's the ideal scenario. Yeah. Someone asked me the same question once, and I said, look, my daughter is 28. If someone says, I want to take your daughter and kill her, just tell me how much you've spent, I'll give it to you. I mean, how does it? Wow. What's that? Yeah. So this is not about. It's not about me, and it's not about business. And the mistake a lot of people are making is they're talking to me as if it's about me, right? Yes, from my own selfish point, yes, I have an interest in keeping something that I've been working on for 27 years flourishing, right? But I think people need to come down there and speak to the real lives and the real people and the real businesses and take a view. Yes. Also, when you look at when people talk about the coastal road alignment and what has happened, we're at ground zero. It's a 700-kilometer coastal road. This is the first kilometer. I mean, so let's put things into perspective. There are many conversations that are going on, and there are many conversations that I am 95% sure this will be resolved. Yeah. I'm not working with, and I'm not talking and working with a set of people that don't understand the issues. So I think I'm pretty sure it will be resolved. It's quite painful at this point in time because, as you can imagine, I have calls from, forget about family and friends. Yes, I've had calls from ex-presidents. I've had calls from foreign presidents. Yeah. I've had calls from investors. Investors from the banks that we owe money to, and from people. We have a 30-floor building going up there. There's 300 apartments. We've sold half of them. Some of those people are calling.
But I want to ask you the details of some of the you may not give us the exact details, but some of the conversations you have had with government and where you think it's tilting to. Then also, you said at the beginning when you were procuring the land, you knew that the coastal road was going to be closed, but then it was supposed to be in front. Do you have like an evidence supporting that as what the government had promised it will do, so that in case they insist that they are going to go inwards, affecting your property, you can go to court? Have you considered that? I think there are three questions there. The first is what's going on in terms of conversations. So I'm still having informal conversations at various levels of the government. There's a lot of sympathy. There's a lot of empathy. They want to make sure the jobs continue. They want to make sure the business continues. So there are more clarifying questions. Everybody's trying to understand. As you can imagine, this is not something where one person wakes up in the morning and says, build a coastal road, the same person draws a line, next person says, contractor, go and start work, right? There are whole tiers, there are all sorts of, from top to bottom, there are all sorts of people who have to do things. How many people actually looks through? I can imagine what happens is
Someone drew a line in the sand and just said, let's
go through this way.
This is the straightest way, yes, right? And no, but they haven't done that research to figure out what, we're ground zero, right? So I can imagine that further down, there'll be many other of these challenges to overcome. If you do your research about coastal roads that are built across the world, and let me make it clear, it's one of the best ideas in terms of infrastructure development for coastal cities, right? Its primary job, when you look at the Pacific Coastal Road, you look at the Amfree Coastal Road, you look at the North Atlantic Coastal Road, you look at even the ones done in China, there's the Cape Town one, they're there to enhance tourism. They're not usually 10-lane expressways, to be fair. You're usually scenic routes and 2, 3, 4 lanes, and they go in and out and stuff. But they're there to enhance tourism. And the idea is, and I know that this is what the government wants. If I were in government, that's what I would want as well, is to ensure that you can connect all these places and all the tourism businesses or hospitality businesses are enhanced rather than unenhanced. So that's the idea of it. So, I applaud it. And I'll back it all the way, right? But there'll be challenges. I've mentioned about 4 or 5 different coastal roads around the world. Some of them have taken 25 years to build. Some have taken 30. In America, it took 24 years in North Pacific. Even the one on the East Coast took 17 years. The North Atlantic one took 21 years. Even China, that built very fast, theirs was a 50-something kilometer road, not a 700-kilometer road. It still took 3 to 4 years. So there are a number of complications in infrastructure projects like this, right? And no doubt, yes, we will get there someday, but it's not something that's going to happen overnight, right? So things like this shouldn't really be rushed. The next part of your comment,
Yes, I was asking, do you have any evidence to show that it was supposed to actually be in front of the property?
Yes. So first of all, that's not really a question for me, but let me attempt to answer. So there's no misunderstanding, so it's clear. There was something called the West African Coastal High Road. It was meant to connect Dakar in Senegal to Luanda in Angola. It passed through a number of countries on the western seaboard, right? The World Bank were heavily involved in the early 2000s on it. The alignment for that road, yes, was being thought out between 2002 to 2010. The alignment, this road, and I, in all honesty, I don't know whether it's the same road, right? Because it's now being called the Lagos-Calabar Road. So whether it's the same part of that West African Coastal High Road, which I assume it is, was meant to follow the same alignment, right? At some point, somewhere between 2015, 2016, and the next 1 or 2 years, there were thoughts to change that alignment onto the waterfront. Now, it could have been anywhere. It could have been on the Lagos Wall. It could have been deep inside the sea. Obviously, Eco Atlantic is building. It could have been in there. I didn't know where it was. Yes. These are a matter of records and facts, and they're not for me to speculate on. I think you can have someone on this table and you can ask that question.
Break it down for us.
So even if, let's assume now that this assumption was correct, that the road was supposed to be before and after. I remember the Badagry 10-lane road before it was actualized. There were buildings right in front of Lasso. There was a 4-story building, an ancestral home of someone. They went to court. They were in litigation for years. They delayed the construction of that road to, so a number of years. But today that building was taken down and the road was still expanded because government has the power to recover any property for public policy. So if that is what is affecting your business now, are you going to, support that move for the progress of, the country, or are you going to still stand on, retaining your business?
So, I mean, it's a great question, by the way, very difficult one, because I sit here as an entrepreneur, as I said, who has worked on the business for 27 years, right? When I look at the facts on the ground, I look at it from my point of view. And I see there's extremely easy solutions. You had a picture on your screen. For 6 years, I've campaigned to build the Water Corporation Road, which is in front of this picture. And, the government kindly did that last year. Opened in December. It literally starts at the beginning of Landmark and stops at the end of Landmark. It's 100 there. There it is, right? They've tarred it. It's lovely. Now, if you look on the left, what is the point in now 100 meters to the north, right? And destroying the business that you've just built a road to protect, right? So I look at that from my point of view, but let me make it clear though, and I've said it already, that the coastal road is a great idea. And if I have to take a bullet for the coastal road to progress, I would take that bullet, right? But it's not about me. Yes, it's about all the people involved, it's about the economic activity. And do you have to take a bullet if it's not necessary? If there's a win-win situation?
I feel like it is a very tough place to be.
Honestly, very tough.
And we're aspiring for the kind of great established brand that you have been able to build. And it feels somehow that what I'm thinking in my head, what could the government have done better? Because I hear you would not make any move without approval. Of course. And it means the government at every point in time of every expansion approved. It also means that even the construction of the road was approved. Could it be that we don't have that level of synergy, that as we are planning something as big as this coastal road, an approval was done for the Water Corporation Road that did not carry along the idea of the coastal road, and we're now trying to make it work. In between that, you are looking at your 27-year-old baby and wondering, am I going to lose this? And ideally, what would you advise the government to do to prevent this kind of things happening going forward? Because we also want to bring in FDI, which you did, and we need more to come into the country.
To build economy.
And this kind of news, what somebody sent to me, it was a client. A client sent me a picture of a picture showing Lagos government to demolish Landmark Beach Resort. And they're like, if this can happen to Landmark, it can happen to any other real estate company. And all our businesses are at risk just by this action. So what do you believe the government can do in trying to achieve that overriding good for the people and yet preserving businesses and investors' funds to continue to come in?
Good question. Look, I've worked in real estate for the best part of 35 years. I actually did my master's project on city building and city designs and infrastructure development. I've worked in 14 different countries, and Landmark has worked in all these countries. This idea of real estate, and it's called real estate because it's real. This idea of real estate and its interaction with the regulatory environment of the government is incredibly difficult. It's not like the telcos that are in the air. It's real. So there's infrastructure, roads, water, sewage and stuff. There's always greater goods because you have to plan. People change their plans as well for the right reasons, right? And organizations get affected. And at some point you could become a casualty of war. And that's the thing about real estate. That's part and parcel of the risk of real estate. So the government has an incredibly difficult job, and so do real estate people, because you can't. Someone once said to me that if you want to be successful in real estate, predict the future. Those that get it right do extremely well. Those that get it wrong just die off, right? So this is not something that can always be predicted. I said earlier that we wouldn't have achieved what we have achieved without government support and government collaboration. So it's work in progress. There are conversations. If you can imagine the number of square meters across the country and across Lagos, there's just so much, right? And I don't know how many people they have to deal with that. So it's a continuous conversation. And when things like this happen, it heightens some of the challenges, and it's for us to try to solve these challenges. And I've got to ask people to, this is a moment in time. It's not really about Landmark. So people have to try to stop being too cynical and stop being too political about it. And let's solve this problem for the greater good. And I think we can, because I think the solving of this problem has extremely easy reasons. And there are a number of reasonable people out there, right? So I think we need to focus on that.
So I have a caller. I'll come to you, Ramatu. Tony from London. Good morning, Tony.
Yeah, please. Can any one of you tell me who are federal government, and when you take decision in the government, can you tell me those that takes your decisions, and then who are the federal government? That's what I want. I'm concerned all the time to know who are the real federal government.
There are different ministries, departments, and agencies.
I don't understand. Any agency in the center.
In charge,
and subnationals are states. Agencies as well.
I didn't get the question.
Did you get
For the
that?
purpose of land and coastal, I think that's where the question is coming from. Because I'm aware the coastal area, because all the tank farms we fought against got their licenses from the federal. And, you know, Lagos State as the state of accommodation had little or nothing to say about how they were situated at a particular area in Lagos. So I think that's the purpose of this.
Okay, so I take it that you are here so that at least we can help plead with the government that they should let your business continue.
No, I'm here to clear clarity. As you can imagine, I have received thousands of calls, and there's a lot of there's a lot of and there's a lot of misinformation out there as well. And we very early I tried to get ahead of this thing and issued a press statement. And the facts are in the press statement, right? We're having positive conversations. I am 100% sure this thing will be resolved. I have a view as to potential alternatives, and you know, for the greater good, I think we can win. There can be a win-win, right? And that's where I stand. I'm not here to lobby the government. I'm not here to fight, and I'm certainly not here to canvass support or enemies. It's almost irrelevant to the whole thing. I'm here to clarify issues that I can clarify that pertain to Landmark. And I'm sure on your show you ask the people who have the answers to questions about.
So we have another caller, Kola Wole from Kwara. Good morning, Kola.
Good morning.
Your life, sir.
Yeah, please permit me to use one stone to kill two birds on your discussion this morning. Okay, sir. I want to come and speak on this coastal road project. And at the same time, I'm interested in this power that the federal government is, you know, planning to increase the tariff of NEPA, and the statement of the Minister for Power, Adilabu. You see, Nigeria, we are killing our citizens silently by all this policy that we are doing. Look at the removal of subsidy. About a year now, subsidy has been removed. Minimum wage has not been increased. Now, DSTV increased their money almost every month on the same salary. Now, the NEPA's palaver. There is no NEPA. We are paying for the NEPA with the energy we have not used. So if I like, give me prepaid. I use prepaid meter in my house. If I like, I can leave the light for 24 hours. Go to anywhere. Since I know that I'm going to pay for it, it is for the benefit of the government. The moment I can pay what I use, it is not their problem. Then on the coastal road, I want to appeal. Any development the government want to embark, and you say it is going to be for the benefit of the nation, and is killing the citizens that you are doing it for, it is no project. Though our guest speaker have said that it is not something that they are going to do within 1 or 2 years. It's going to be set over a period of years. But even before we embark on it, if the government or whoever is going to do the project who is not ready to pay adequate compensation and resettle those that their houses will be demolished, the government should be think twice before they will embark on such things. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that also brings me to my question. I know that some of these projects take a long time, but now we hear demolition, and we can demolish, and then it takes another 50 years before anything is done. So why go through the route of demolition? I would also suggest, because you know, the plan for the coastal road is for tourism, to also enhance tourism. And now we have a business that's enhancing tourism as well. They would always find a way to navigate the road if we are ready about it.
Let me add to that question. Yes. So if government were to, you know, come in with some costs to adjusting the plan, the existing plan, how open are you? Because as an investor, you might say, you know, we don't have the funds already indebted to bank loans and all of that. But, you know, I thought of this sentiment. This road might take us another 50 years, maybe when we are far older, before we see the real actualization of the full completion of it. And your business would have paid the price because they're starting from this end of town. So how open are you to, you know, possibly a cost to adjusting this, because we're looking at, you know, a Nigerian business surviving?
So I'll say three things. The first is, you know, I'm focused and quite confident that a win-win situation will emerge. And what that win-win situation is, as an entrepreneur, I don't predict the future like that, right? We get to the table, a win-win situation, and we'll work one out. The second thing I'll say is a parable someone once said to me: a man can't give what he hasn't got. Right? So no matter how much you want to do something, there are times you can't do it but if you got something, then you give it. So time will tell. The third thing is one of impact. Is whatever it is one does in life, right? And you're looking for positivity, you always try to do the best for the right reasons. And I sit here and say, we will do whatever we have to do for the right reasons. If someone asked me, even just within our own landmark complex, it's a 13-hectare site, so it's large, right? Yeah. And we need to do some drainage works or some internal road works, and there's a hut in the middle, and without removing that hut, you can't do these works that will benefit the entire ecosystem. It's a decision I'll have to make, and I have to consider everything around that. At the same time, I'll have to consider how would I lessen the impact, or what else can I do regarding this hut. So, these are decisions I'm sure the government faces all the time. In my small business, I face those decisions on a daily basis. So, when they come up, we deal with them, and we look for a win-win for the benefit.
I know that this is where, because I was trying to pick where there was a meeting. I think the meeting held last year about it was a pitching of the high rise that is going up. I think there's a building very high rise. You mentioned it here as well.
The WaterView.
Yes, the WaterView, and you have investors already in that project, and they're probably watching this. Maybe they don't have your direct number to get clarity. What would be your conversation to such investors concerning your commitment to Landmark and also to their investment so far?
So it's a great question, and those that don't have my number have found it. My phone has run non-stop. Sitting in the studio, I've probably had about 50 calls here. So yes, it's 300 units. More than half of those units are already committed. People have paid huge sums of money already. Banks have funded. This is an $85 million project, and we're on the 12th floor already. And obviously we're still trying to sell the others to make sure it's a viable project. So this has thrown a real span in the works, and you can only imagine the calls I've received. But the comfort I'll give out to people is, look, we've been in business for 27 years. We're not a fly-by-night company. We've been here. We have created the most visited destination, tourism and hospitality destination in West Africa. As a matter of fact, the same day I received that notice was the same day I was called by the World Traveler magazine. I was being nominated for the Tourism Man of the Year for Africa.
Wow!
Right? And the citation was that for my contributions towards shaping the framework for beachfront tourism in Africa. And a few hours later, I get the notice. So it was a sweet and sour moment.
How did you feel?
It was a sweet. So I felt elated when I got the notice, and obviously extremely concerned when I got this. And my mom said to me once, "Is the taste of victory a better feeling than? Does it override the feeling of the pains of either failure or disappointment?" And time will tell, but it's a real tough one. But as a businessman, we go through this every day, and we have to find ways to accommodate it. But I can assure everybody out there, my investors, my clients, my team, my stakeholders, my bank lenders, and of course the wider government, that we will find a win-win. The solutions are easier than are being made out to, and hopefully in a very short time, hopefully days rather than weeks, it will be solved, and everybody will have cause to smile. We will then have to pick up the pieces of what has happened in the background to real lives, and believe me, there are plenty.
So do you know of any other businesses that are affected, and are you guys in talks with each other
within Landmark?
Yes.
Yes.
Around as well.
Oh, around Landmark. No, I don't. I mean, there are obviously businesses that much further down will be affected, but the coastal road basically goes through Landmark and cuts back onto the original route. So technically we're the only ones really affected with infrastructure.
And how are you pacifying the people working within Landmark?
Yes,
Because I've heard the news. And how do you
it's
take
a tough job. So we've had people are concerned about their families, about we have a cost of living crisis at the moment. Their businesses there.
There's so many hotels around too that are benefiting from this Landmark.
So 7 years ago, I did a walk around Landmark with a potential international funder. They were going to give us $20 million to develop this beachfront. When we walked around it, he said, look, that every square meter of Landmark is feeding a family. There were people everywhere. There were 30,000 people, million. And, obviously, they wrote the check, and they're calling me now, right? But yes, it's a tough one, and people understand. We're speaking to people, but it's very, very tough. There's some emotional stories out there.
Because we believe government does things for the good of the people generally, is it possible that you're also looking at a relocation or a compensation? Because, Lagos is largely coastal. There are other areas, and we have other coastal states that might not necessarily be affected by these coastal roads. We have the Cross River, which also has a huge tourism potential. We have some other states, that are potentially tourist states. Are you looking at compensation and relocation as an alternative?
Well, I've spoken about compensation, but if you can pick up $100 million worth of infrastructure and take somewhere else, you tell me. Yeah, I can't. I don't know how to do that, right? But we're a multi-country, multi-city, multi-site business. We have offices in 14 different cities. I've got calls from presidents of other countries to come and do things like this on the coast. I had a call this morning from another country president on the coast, talking about how do we work in that country. I'm dealing with and very close to signing agreements with a number of other states who want us to create tourism and hospitality infrastructure. So the answer is yes, we're expanding. We're in multiple places. I did never intend to leave Lagos. I went to school here. This is my environment. We've impacted people. All the local people employed, we're there for them. It is not my intention to leave. The intention here is how do we expand this and ensure that other parts of the country and other parts of the region have the same thing.
Yeah, we'll have another caller, Salisu from Jos. Good morning, Salisu.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, we can hear you.
My question is, now Lagos State prides itself as a state whereby there is continuity of governance, right from the days of our Oga Tinubu to the present governor, Sawalu. So now, if they are threatening an established business for more than 2 decades with demolition, so what signal are they now sending to will-be investors? Before now allowing them to have this land, this property, there must have been studies and other things. And like the question Madam Obiajelu asked him, I believe there are papers to this property, and they have their master plan as it intend development of Lagos State for decades. So why will they now threaten and establish business for more than 2 decades with this kind of issue? What signals are they sending to will-be investors that will now be coming to the mega city to invest? It means you can do your business 20 years down the line, somebody will now come and threaten you. I believe when this dust is settled, they should compensate them for even this shock that they are giving them. Because
thank you, Salisu. This is a question for the government.
Yes.
Being a government of continuum.
Yes.
And we expect that they know all of these things, and hopefully they would, resolve it. But we have some very good comments, bad comments. YouTube. Mina TP says, Landmark is a tourist initiative and it should have priority over the coastal road. Both are important and they should seek a win-win resolution to this. Deep Place says, how can you demolish such project that is enhancing tourism? They must find a way to resolve this. Everybody's hoping. Lala 12 says, I hope they're able to find a way around this. Landmark is a cool place. And
we've all been there.
All been there, yes.
Yes. Deep Place says, every coastal road is not even a priority. Tourism can bring more investment in the country. Why are these people clueless? Everybody's wishing and hoping that this is resolved. They said, this man is so calm. I hope this doesn't affect his state of health. No. Are you okay, sir?
I'm perfectly fine.
Fiona says, people that invest in real estate just need a large heart. These issues are common. You've mentioned it. These are some of the challenges that you face. Mount Rushmore says, this CEO has a smiling face. They like your calm demeanor. And so, do we have one final question before we go? So, what are you looking forward?
Let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What decision would you make?
I would plead. I would beg. If I need to roll on the floor, if I need to take off my clothes, if I need to run crazy outside, I would appeal to the government to find a way through that, landmark, because it's not just about me. I will be fine anyhow. But I have a lot of people whose lives are dependent on the business that they do there. A lot of people, a lot of mouths who I am feeding there. And the fact that I'm also projecting tourism internationally, I'm a representative of the government and Nigeria. So I would plead, whatever I need to do, they will not break anything there. That's what I would do. And I hope that is what will happen too. Any final comments?
Yeah, so the same thing too. I think I agree with her as well, because my sister came for holidays last December. They came to Landmark. They had fun. They enjoyed the place and all. Yeah. So I'm hoping that the government will just let that business be, at least for the mental health of Lagosians.
Yeah. To have a place to
that's where they go and pull off as a family, not just parents, but family, children to go there and have fun and all. So I pray that the government will look into it and do something for you.
And find a way out.
Yeah, for us.
Landmark. My daughter can't stop talking about it, but we didn't go as a family. She went with another group of friends.
Place.
I'm hoping that, they can design maybe some bridges. I don't know how that will work, so that they keep the beach from.
Okay.
So cross the bridge, design something that still covers and keeps the investment that you've put in place.
I think we have intelligent people
of the waterfront. I would love to see the beaches.
Yes.
I still remember the bar beach. My dad used to take us there every weekend, just drive, and I miss it when I pass. I don't see the water and all of that, so I'd really like to see.
I'll just say that my own reply will be: a willing mind will find 1,000 ways, and I feel that for the greater good, if we actually look at the greater good, this is not just about Landmark. This is about all the real estate developers operating in Lagos, all the investors who hope to invest in Lagos. For the greater good, a willing mind will find 1,000 ways to make this work.
Yeah, amazing. And the fact also that we want our businesses to outlive us.
Yes.
We have, when you go abroad, you see companies that have lasted 100 years, 200 years, 500 years.
Yeah.
You're on your way, 27 years. It's a huge feat. We're all praying to get there. So please, government should help. And I believe that by the time the negotiation starts fully, they would find a way to see how that can be resolved. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The pleasure is entirely mine.
Yes. Thank you for joining us on the show. We've been speaking with the CEO of Landmark Africa Group, Paul Onwanibe. We wish you all the best in this Landmark venture. And we hope that we'll hear good news soon.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, ladies, for being a wonderful
co-hosts
and contributors on the show today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.